And Monday Night Raw isn't the only show that will be transitioning to a new network. We also have NXT, which has been on the USA Network since 2019, back when they had transitioned from the network and moved over to USA Network as a way to compete with the newest show, AEW Dynamite. I don't know if you heard of it. They'll also be moving to the CW network next month, I believe. And one of the big announcements for that card, for that matchup in early October, the first episode of the CW era in NXT, will be NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez defending her title against the newly debuted Giulia. We have been waiting for seemingly months. I think it was around WrestleMania 40 Stand and Deliver where it was announced that Giulia was on her way to NXT. She finally made her long awaited debut, and I think it's just perfect. It makes perfect sense to have this be the matchup as the premiere to the CW. You want to attract as many wrestling fans and potential new fans as well to the product. What better way than to have one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE right now, Roxanne Perez, and one of the more versatile wrestlers in the world in Giulia? I think the one question here is, do they have Giulia win that title in her first attempt, in her first matchup? Granted, that's what I would ask after the No Mercy event, but we now have word that this week, Giulia, her first matchup will be against Chelsea Green. I think that's a great idea. It's going to showcase the star potential of a Giulia, as well as giving a girl like Chelsea Green the proper rub, right? You're going to have her in the ring with Giulia. All the news is going to be surrounded around this matchup. So now we're going to have eyes linked towards Chelsea Green. I think she's the perfect character choice as well because she doesn't take herself too seriously. So she's able to bump around for Giulia, and looking forward to the matchup for sure. Going back to the title match though, do we see Giulia win the match? Do we see her win that title in her first title opportunity against Roxanne Perez? Roxanne Perez, I think, has had the best women's title run in NXT history. The only one I can make an argument for is like an Asuka, who held that title for like 500 days, undefeated. Fantastic, phenomenal. Roxanne Perez, the type of matchups that she's been able to have, especially at the young age of 22, still relatively new to the WWE style, but not new to pro wrestling, as I believe she's been training since like 17, 16, very young. And you wouldn't know that because of the way that she is in the ring, the professionalism, and just the level of experience that she has brought to NXT. Because in comparison with her, with some other members of the roster, for example, like a Jada Parker, who haven't been in the business for too long, Roxanne Perez is trusted in these moments against these ladies in high profile matches. You saw the level of credibility she lends to that title every time she sets foot in that ring. It's believable. I think one of the best comps that they've made about her is like an AJ Lee, not only in stature but in style of wrestling, in terms of character work and in ring work. It translates real well, and you can see the inspiration that she takes from AJ Lee. I'm a big fan of both women, AJ Lee and Roxanne Perez, so I'm wishing her nothing but the best. And if she were to drop that title to Giulia, I mean, what more do you want from her? She's been the ideal company woman, especially in terms of representing that brand. She is, I think, the face, not even thinks, she is the face of the NXT women's division and one of the bigger faces of that brand itself. Does she move up to the main roster if she were to lose that title? I hope not. Not yet. Maybe not till Stand Deliver next year, because I would love to see her in a follow-up matchup with Giulia. Maybe Stephanie Vaquer when she shows up. We know Delta's also arriving. There's still plenty of matchups that she can have that will not only boost up her experience, but boost up her equity and just her credibility in the ring. So right now, if she were to drop the title, and that's a big if, it's important to give her flowers for what she was able to accomplish in NXT.